Hola guys and girls and welcome to a new Digimon TCG deck showcase and my first deck showcase for BT07. Yes, I'm rather late to the party. I want to say most of you probably saw a lot of deck lists out there for various decks. And yeah, but I like usual, I like to take my time to test decks and then share them once I'm comfortable with the deck, that they are good and stuff like this. And especially now that since I returned from the Digimon Fest in Germany here in Düsseldorf, which I went with this deck 4-1-1, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and managed 12 plays out of 128 players there. So yeah, I'm very confident now in the deck, and I definitely want to show it to you guys so you can try it out yourself and yeah, learn from maybe some mistakes I made in deck building and stuff like that. But yeah, as you can see on the screen right now, the deck I'm talking about is Yellow Hybrids. For the most part, one of the two main meta decks you will see probably around. Yellow Hybrids and Blue Hybrids are the main decks this season, I want to say, or in this meta game we have with BT7 now. There's some other decks running around, of course, which are successful as well, but these are probably the ones we will face the most. And yeah, the main reason is because of Jet Sylphimon right here, but this is so good. When one of your Digimon with Tamer card and evolution cards reverse and this card in your hand, reduce the memory cost by 2, and so you can only evolve for 1 if you have a Tamer in this evolution cards. And when Digimon effect is, if a card with hybrid in its traits in its Digimon cards, recovery 1. So basically, I mean, once this condition is met, when Digimon effect is automatically met as well, barring the opponent can like trash the specific cards in the middle, which I don't think is possible yet. So you can basically, for 1 cost evolution, you for 1 get a very cheap level 5 Digimon on the field, and you get to recover, which is very valuable. And yeah, so you can for 1 recover, and second turbo out your level 6 Digimon, which can have some multiple Digimon effects, for example, like the Promo Seraphim, which was the main mega in my deck, which just keeps recovering on, because when the Digimon effect, if you have a Tamer in play, which in this deck is pretty easy, you cover more, and then in addition you cover even more. So you already see the theme of this deck. The theme of this deck is to just keep on recovering, stall out the opponent, get free Tamers through that, get free option cards, remove the stuff, playing very reactively, and then chip at the opponent's security with your hybrid Digimon, and then you win the game that way. But yeah, now let's go over the cards from the bottom. So, starting with the Tama lineup, I decided to go with a purple base for some option cards in the deck, you will see later on. So I have 4 times the Shaomon, because I think it's the most standard one, and from the purple one it's definitely the most useful, because it has a U-turn effect. While there are 10 or more cards in your trash, this Digimon gains retaliation. So later portions in the game, when your trash is rather big, you just put a purple rookie on that, and you can run into anything and will guaranteed die. So yeah, very nice right there, and basically you have just the purple rookie there, so we can guaranteed always play our purple option cards without having to worry having something on the field, like if you only have purple Tamers, for example, which I think is a little bit too inconsistent, at least for the build I have, where I have a lot of purple options, or a good amount. Then for rookies, of course, we only play purple rookies there, so to get potentially a draw out of Shaomon, and the rookies we have right here is the Gazimon, because there's a nice alternate effect that your opponent can't gain memory except with Tamer effects. So this, in some matchups, this doesn't do a whole lot, and you basically only get free draws from putting that on Shaomon, and maybe remove something in later portions of the game. But especially in for example, in the blue matchup, this is great, because they play memory boost, they play ice wall, which you can hit security, stuff like that. There's a lot of tools the opponent tries to use to gain memory, and yeah, you can just deny that. And some other matchup does work as well, but there are definitely lists running around which rather play the Elecman, for example, which has the on-deletion effect to delete a rookie, or I saw you decks with Tapimon, which has the on-deletion effect to draw some multiple cards, which are all viable. In some matchups I thought, okay, maybe Gazimon is not that good, maybe I want a different one, but then in other matchups it was just so good that I said, okay, no, Gazimon is definitely the rookie to go. I guess it depends on what you expect to face in your matches, in your tournaments, what rookie you decide to go with, but I'm very happy with 4 times Gazimon, wouldn't change that in my opinion. So, now up to some more rookies. We do play 3 times the Pokemon. Gives a little bit more consistency due to the on-play effect that we can reveal the top 5 cards of our deck and add 1 hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits and 1 Tamer card amount to your hand. Place it in random bottom in any order, and of course the U-turn effect, none of your Tamers Digivolves gain 2 memory. So all of our hybrids Digivolve for 2 onto our Tamers, so with that we basically evolve for free, and that means if we then put a Jet Sylphimon on that, we only paid 1 in total to just recover in 1 turn, recover 1, and have our ultimate on the field to basically be a target for a level 6 Digimon. So yeah, and if you have multiple on the field, of course you get a lot more memory. This, for example, one of the Digimon which a lot of hybrid decks play, which gets blocked by the Gazimon as well, so you don't gain the memory. But yeah, that's Pokemon for you. Just I mean, it's a pretty good card for every hybrid decks out there, so yeah, we play that as well. Then for the level 4 lineup, no big surprises there. We just play all the yellow hybrids we have at our disposal, which is 4 times the Scizor, which is just the 5k vanilla, which can evolve onto our Tamers for 2. And of course the Zephimon, which is another level 4, which can evolve for 2 onto our Tamers, and there's the Wind Dodge effect as well. If a card with hybrid in its traits or Zoid is in the Digimon Delusion cards, all of your security Digimon gets plus 3000 DP, which comes into play sometimes since we don't have that many level 6 and level 5 Digimon stuff like that in the deck, so boosting our security in that regard can be helpful, but most of the times this is just a 2 cost. Since we don't play any level rookie, yellow rookies either way, we always have to play these on Tamers, so yeah, they come out of nothing, they hit security, they can be a target for our Jet Sylphimon, stuff like that. But yeah, very straightforward. Like I said, nothing too special there. It's this standard for every yellow hybrid deck. You of course play all the yellow hybrids you have. And yeah, moving on to level 5 slots, we already talked about the MVP of the deck, which is the Jet Sylphimon. So of course we play 4 of those, and I want to say 2, but if you play only 2 of those, you're pretty madman. But yeah, there's just so much value you get of Jet Sylphimon, it's insane. So I always play 4 of them. It's the whole reason this deck is as popular as it is because of this Jet Sylphimon right there. And then I play 2 Rice Greymon just for the when Digivolve effect for 1 that we can play Yellow Tamer for free. Can't activate the on-play effect, which is not that terrible, but why I like this more over the Rice Greymon or the red one, which with the Digiburst effect, is this effect right here. While you have 3 or more Tamers in play, which is not as difficult, of course, with a lot of Tamers in the deck, you gain Security Tech +1, so this is way better in exuding some pressure as well on the opponent. Because like I said, we have a slow game plan where we chip at the opponent one security at a time, we keep recovering, keep replenishing, stuff like that. But having a Digimon with Security Tech +1 on the field is a big threat for opponent in a deck like this. We can just basically win with double the speed as usual. So yeah, that's why I like this more than the Rice Greymon. Even though the one play effect can be nice sometimes, but usually we want Tamers just on the field for that. So yeah, we have the Rice Greymon there for Security +1 effect, and of course we're playing Tamers for free. Then moving on to a level 6 Digimon, we have 3 times the so-called Seraphimon as well. I like this with Rice Greymon as well, because with Security Tech +1, this is sometimes because of the on-deletion effect we get to recover. The opponent doesn't really want to remove it sometimes. Sometimes he just want to keep it on the field, stuff like that. But if it has Security Tech +1, this is a huge threat the opponent has to answer in very quickly, or otherwise we just get way too ahead in the game, and that means we get more value of the on-deletion effect, for example. And yeah, we already talked about this, just more recovery, more stalling, very frustrating for the opponent. And then we have one of Dynasmon there, which a lot of people play. I just tried it out, but to be honest, in my matches it never really came into play. I played it, but sometimes I don't even decide to activate the main Digivolve effect because I didn't want to mill myself. And yeah, just has the, of course, you know that we can tutor up to 2 Digimon cards out of the top 6 cards, which is we don't have that many Digimon cards, so sometimes you will whiff or even only get 1 with that, since we do play a lot of option cards and Tamer, stuff like that. And then of course the alternate effect, when a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recovery 1. So if we are low on security cards, this guy can keep us alive. And yeah, but like I said, I like it as a one-off as well. It can be pretty useful. It just wasn't for me for now in the matches, but I definitely can see the value. That's why I would keep it in the deck, and I definitely would keep this level 6 lineup like this. I will talk later. This was, of course, the Digimon Fest are sideboard events, so I will talk about my sideboard as well. There are some more level 6 Digimon there, which you can potentially play, but I like this as my main lineup, and the rest then for potential matchups, differences where I want to play other cards. And then as level 7, I have one Susanomon as well, which is very nice. Yeah, we have a hybrid deck, so having at least one Susanomon is always nice. Can just delete one of the opponents when Digivolving, has of course Security Tech +2, so exudes a lot of pressure. And of course, since we are a more slow deck, the matches are drawn out the effect that we can place 10 Tamer or hybrid cards from our trash back into the deck. Just, yeah, makes us not run out of cards in the deck, and yeah, make us not mill ourselves before we lose potentially. So definitely a main card through that as well. So I play one of that in the main deck as well. And now to the let's go to the Tamer. There, like I said, only the end is maybe a bit different, but of course we play 4 times the BT1. TK, probably the most important Tamer in the deck. Yeah, definitely need one of them at least on the field, so always mulligan for that early on to have at least the TK or Pokemon in hand, so we can search for TK. Because having the 3 more memory is always nice. You just don't get choked, and you can make sure to, yeah, being able to make all your plays you want in the turn before you have to pass over the initiative. And yeah, and of course a nice on-play effect that we can look at the security stack and look for 1 yellow card there. Especially if we start recovering early on in the match, we have like 6 or 7 security cards. This effect is insane because we have a lot of options to choose from. Then of course we play 4 times the Zori Orimoto, which has once again the on-play effect to search our recovery stack, or our security in that regard. Sorry there. For hybrids we don't have any 10 warriors, so we can only search for hybrids there. And yeah, has the opponent's turn inheritable that our security demon gets more powerful, which like I said can be useful. Sometimes it doesn't really matter, but it's a cheap tamer which tutors our stuff for us. Then we play 4 times the memory dual tamer with TK and Kari, which gives us, in some scenarios this saves your ass because it just gives you so much memory if you're behind on security. In some matches, of course, you are just going to recover so much that you're never going to have less security than your opponent, so the effect doesn't trigger as well. But in some matches, this is just the MVP. If you have 3 of them in the field, you get 6 additional memory. You can just do so much, enable so many plays. Great tamer in that regard, and the your-turn effect, of course, also nice when you attack with the yellow Digimon. You can give minus 1000 TP for a Digimon, so especially if you have multiple on the field, you can remove some rookies in that regard. And then I play 3 times the small TK, which not that many people do. Many people prefer the yellow Kari, but I like the small TK, not really for the effect that our security Digimon get even stronger, but mainly since it's a very cheap tamer for only 2 cost, which is a target for our hybrids as well, because like I said, we need a tamer to evolve our hybrids. We don't have rookies there. And for example, if we only have 1 TK, we never want to evolve over that because we want to keep him on the field for the memory effect. Similar stuff sometimes for these. Zori is always a good target for our hybrids because it has the inheritable as well, for example. But yeah, we don't really want to evolve over these or that too much. So I'd rather have a cheap target there for my hybrids where I don't lose too much value, since in theory you do lose a tamer when you play a hybrid. So it's not all good. So yeah, I like the TK in that regard because it's very cheap. And yeah, you don't really miss it too much if you put a hybrid onto that. But yeah, this is my tamer lineup. As you can see, 15 in total. Let's put these away, and now for the option cards. Got restricted, but still pretty awesome. In any yellow deck, we play 1 reinforcing memory boost, pretty straightforward. Only 1 copy allowed of that. You can reveal the top cards, so it's card draw and recovery, and you can choose what to put in the security as well. So yeah, depending on what you want, you can of course put your option cards in there, put your tamers in there, and put the rest in hand. And of course, the delay effect, gaining free memory potentially later on to enable some awesome plays, is of course great as well. So yeah, 1 of that in the deck. Then, of course, for our removal options, we have 4 times the Wyvern's Breath, just to remove some big stars, give the Digimon minus 15 KDP, which is pretty strong. Removes even Susanomon, for example. And yeah, basically every Digimon on the field, barring some with DP boosts. And then I play another 4 times of Schwarz Leersatz, which is basically our swarm answer. Because usually we do have at least 3 tamers and maybe a hybrid there, so removing 3 cards for 6 memory is just insane. Because for each Digimon with hybrid in its traits, or each tamer you have in play, delete 1 of your opponent's level 5 Digimon or lower. So yeah, once at level 6 we have to play the Wyvern's Breath, but everything below we just delete with Schwarz Leersatz. So very nice board control. Schwarz Leersatz was definitely the MVP. I don't miss having 4 of them in the deck, or I don't regret that, to be more clear. I see some decks running around which play less of them, but I would honestly, with sideboard maybe you can put some in the sideboard, stuff like that, but I never regretted having 4 Schwarz Leersatz in the deck. In every matchup I had a card to remove something, and that was pretty awesome. So yeah, this is my option card lineup, and that is the whole deck in total. Now let's go over my sideboard. 10 cards are allowed in the sideboard, so yeah, let's just go over that. My strategy basically was, because it was my first event with sideboarding, the strategy was, since you have a lot of level 6 Digimon you can play in the deck, there's a good amount of options you can have there. So I decided for fast sideboarding, I just have a different level 6 for different matchups, and then I can just trade these out, and the base is basically the same. So what I have, I have 1 additional Susanomon just for the mirror match, because then if 1 is in securities, stuff like that, you get milled very easily, and you want to have these recycling of hybrids and tamers into your deck so you don't run out of cards. They do have 3 times the Shine Greymon, which in some matchups is pretty great, especially in like regular decks, not hybrid decks, which are always a target to remove, because in some hybrid decks, Shine Greymon of course is a reactive card, whereas the Seraphimon is a more proactive card. You can always recover, you just play it to recover. But this when Digivolve effect only is really useful if the opponent really has a board. And in some hybrid matchups, the opponent only has tamers on the board, and you can't really remove that with Shine Greymon. So yeah, in that regard, I have Shine Greymon there. Basically, in any deck which is not a hybrid deck, I might put 1 or 2 or all 3 Shine Greymons into that, depending on what exactly the deck structure is. And then for the mirror, I like as well for free Mastemon. I put them in theory in there just for the counter matchup versus, or the mirror match versus other yellow hybrids, because trashing security card can always be pretty nice there, and getting our purple, our Yazimon back from the trash, or even one of our hybrids to be another target for something can be pretty insane. So yeah, I decided with Mastemon there. More questionable, I want to say, Sharingan and Susanomon definitely more viable options there. Mastemon I might switch up for something else in the sideboard if they keep being sideboard events. Then I have one Kasujimon in matchups where I want to be a bit more aggressive because he has security tech +1 if I have 3 or more security cards, and of course if I have very little security cards, he just recovers up to 3. He recovers up to 3 again, which is pretty nice. And yeah, last but not least, 2 more option cards in Fly Bullet, which are just single target removal. In case I face a deck which doesn't swarm as much, so I don't need that many Schwarz-Leersatz, I decide to go with Fly Bullet so I can remove basically the end boss Digimon, the level 6 Digimon there. And yeah, that's my sideboard in total. Like I said, Sharingan, Susanomon and Fly Bullet I probably would keep in the deck as that sideboard options. With Kasuji and 3 Mastemons, you can probably switch around there. Mastemon in one mirror match it didn't do anything, in another mirror match it was insane, just basically won me the game. So yeah, like I said, 50-50 there. But yeah, that's the whole deck in total, and of course we know what you think about the deck there. Yeah, like I said, yellow hybrid, pretty insane, pretty strong, just keep recovering, keep being a nuisance to the opponent, and yeah, finish the game by chipping away at the opponent or just playing this Susanomon and putting a lot of pressure there. But that's all from me. If you did enjoy this video, of course leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. Hit me on Twitter, Facebook, all the links are in the description, and I will see you another time. Ciao!